Been through the denial phase.
The fact that I would still be going on Saturday speaks not just to my passion for my beloved Sharks, it might be the last game I get to go to for a long time.
The anger.
If you are a man, I'm going to smack your face.
Bargaining.
The more successful we are now, the earlier is the opportunity to take those first gentle steps out.
Now, before we can reach acceptance, a lot of Aussies will have to get through the depression stage.
Look, we've never seen anything quite like it, and I think we're seeing, every single part of Australia struggle right now.
Work counselling services have seen a 15% surge in demand. Calls to Lifeline and Beyond Blue up around 30%.
We're now seeing, at the peak of this virus, our calls getting as high as 3,200 calls a day. Now, that's unprecedented.
In the first week alone, that was 7 times the volume that we'd seen during the bushfire crisis. That just gives you some sense of the scale of this.
Our health, our jobs, our loved ones, our world. There's a lot to worry about.
They may have lost their job, they're worried about losing their job, they can't pay the bills the way they used to, their mortgage is going to go into arrears, they're not having a holiday, they're not getting out of the house, their home is crowded, they don't have enough space.
And as the walls close in on our suddenly very small lives, more Aussies than ever are going into battle with stress, anxiety, loneliness and depression.
But what we're seeing is people who usually don't have anxiety becoming quite anxious, people who usually can handle tough situations, finding this situation, this extraordinary situation, very, very difficult to handle.
But whatever the mental impact on individuals and on our nation's psyche, there is hope, there is help, and there is a way through.
This will end. We will get through this. And the best way we can get through this is to actually stay connected with one another.
Well, our National Mental Health Commissioner, Christine Morgan, has released some very practical tips to cope over the Easter weekend, and she joins us now. Christine, great to have you with us. Now, one of your top tips is to ditch text messages in favour of Zoom or FaceTime or Google Hangouts this Easter. Why is that?
Look, what we're calling on people to do, Lisa, is we actually want to put the connecting bit back into communication. So when we communicate with each other, it's so easy, isn't it, just to text? We do that so frequently, or type out an email. But what we're really calling on at the moment in times of physical distancing is social connection. So in order to put the connection into the communicating, we're saying, hey, put that person into it. Talk, or if even better, go on FaceTime so you can actually see somebody's face, see their reaction, see their body language. If you can't do that, at least hopping on the phone and talking and hearing a voice is better just than the texting and the typing.
What about our kids? What can we do to try to help them get through this?
Look, you know what? I think the best thing to do with kids is to actually start by having a conversation with them and saying, hey guys, how are you feeling? How is this from your perspective? And then the second thing, I reckon there's nothing much better than creating pockets of fun for them, showing them ways they can do things differently, but still have fun, still be kids, still do enjoyable things.
And what the hell do we do? Sorry, I should word that differently. What should parents do?
Parents have got it hard, haven't they? Because the biggest challenge I'm hearing is just this juggling between your paid and your non-paid time at work. You kind of, you've got your work to do, but you've also got the kids, you're trying to do homeschooling, all those things. I think actually cutting ourselves some slack as parents and saying, you know what, this is really hard, and carve out time for yourself. Because just like they say on a plane, put the oxygen mask on yourself before the kids. Look after yourself, because the better you are, the more you're going to be able to help your kids.
Christine, these are excellent tips. I have to ask about couples. Do you have any tips for couples who are spending a lot of time with each other? Literally, I'm asking for all of my friends.
Oh, look, I'm in there with you. So in one sense, as Peter and I say to each other, it's wonderful to have additional time together. But we also know from reports we're hearing back that just the rate of those kind of arguments that happen in the home are a little bit more frequent. The best suggestion I had from a friend, and I think it's a great one, is create some personal spaces in your own living area. So have those spaces where, and it's quite a good thing for a family as well, where when you go into them, the other person, the other people know, actually, you know what, I'm just needing a little bit of time out. And also finding places and things to do that relax and you enjoy is really important.
Christine, you have warmed my little heart. I've been chatting with my mates about the term social distancing, and I realised that you just used the term before, physical distancing instead, which I love. I know it sounds like such a little thing, but I hate the term social distancing because although we have to stay apart, surely now is a more important time than ever to remain social.
You've got it in one, and that's why we're calling on anybody when they're using social distancing, and look, it's global, so it's a bit hard to get rid of it, but is to actually reposition it as being physical distance with social connection. And the reason we're making such a strong point of that is we learned from our fellow Aussies during the bushfire season, which was, get it, only 6 to 8 weeks ago, that the single most important thing when the chips were down was to rely on each other. And that ability to connect with each other, to have that human connectedness, is really critical, not only to our mental health and well-being now, but to get through this whole thing and reconnect on the other side.
Yeah, I personally feel how important it is to be social, but I do wonder how long we can use these tips and tricks to get us through. From your professional point of view, how long can humans be in isolation like this before it starts to break us?
Look, I think the thing we have to do is to actually just build on it day by day. They say that if you look at the mountain and you try to climb the mountain and vision the mountain, you're never going to get there. But if you do it day by day by day, I think you can do it. And I think with the tips, the challenge with them, the call to action perhaps with them, is to turn them into positive life changes for however long this is going to be.
Christine, what about friends and family who maybe aren't doing so well? How do you tell when they need help?
Look, I've always said that we know our loved ones better than anybody else. So it's looking for the signs that are a little bit different in them. If you see somebody becoming a little bit more withdrawn, moody, anxious, concerned, if you're feeling some sort of stress reaction in yourself or others, they're things to look at and address.
Christine, just finally, looking down the track, when we get to the other side of coronavirus, how do you think it's going to change us?
Look, isn't that such a hard one? Because when it comes to something like the bushfires, for instance, we've got precedent. We have had natural disasters before, and we can kind of know what to expect and how to build our resilience and get to the other side. But we've never had a pandemic like this, and I know the PM and others have used the word unprecedented, but it really is. So in one sense, we don't know the answer to that, but I think what we should do is reinforce those things that are quintessentially Aussie, quintessentially about ourselves. So our sense of looking out for each other, caring for each other. Let's take those into the unknown, whatever it may be, because it will be different. But I just reckon if we've got that connection with each other, we'll find a way through on the other side.
Thanks very much for your time, Christine, as well as for the tips to help us get through this, and a very happy Easter to you.
Thank you, and likewise to you. Happy Easter.
And if you'd like a little extra support through this time, a new free coronavirus mental wellbeing support service is available 24/7. The details are on our website.